The best workout in the world. Back in 2018, I was living in Edmonton and I dreamed of being one of those downtown girlies, grabbing my coffee on the way to a bougie workout class, sipping on a smoothie as I dash off to my corporate job. And the workout class of my dreams? Barry's. The epitome of New York, Victoria's Secret model, finance bro lifestyle, six-pack Lululemon lemon water. When I moved to Toronto, the first place I went to was Barry's.
What you can expect at one of the classes.
This class I'd seen on YouTube channels, celebrities mentioning it in Vogue articles, and I had to know if it was worth it. And here are my brutally honest thoughts and results. But you guys came for the drama. Allegedly. You came for the cons. Allegedly. I mean, it's my results, but everything else is alleged. Some lawyer in the comments, please comment. How do I not get sued? The original strength and cardio interval fitness experience that provides a dynamic, high-intensity workout that's as effective as it is fun. And it seemed too good to be true because it kinda is. Flashback to 2018. Where was I fitness-wise?
Pre-workout right here.
Well, it was 1 year since I'd fully quit bodybuilding, and I honestly had quite a disdain for anything in that realm. I wanted to start training like an athlete again, and I was not a runner back then. And I no longer really wanted to be a weightlifter, so I was just trying to figure out what fitness meant to me now. Maybe I'll become a fitness class girly, because I did love taking the back in Edmonton, so I kind of was like, let's try that. What is Barry's Bootcamp? The original high-intensity interval workout. Barry's tones muscles and maximizes fat loss with a combination of running and weights. Okay, right there is a little bullshit. The workout structure. The workout is a 50-minute class, 50% on the treads, 50% on the floor, aka doing weights, usually dumbbells or bands. They have a weekly schedule. Monday, arms and abs. Tuesday, full body, lower body focus. Wednesday, chest, back, and abs. Thursday, ass and abs, a lot of ass and abs. Friday, total body. Saturday, full body but upper focus. And Sunday, total body. The atmosphere. It's a dark room with only red lights. Now, I've tried to find out why red lights, and I found conflicting evidence? Thoughts? I don't know. But mainly it just seems to set the vibe. Give it nightclub. You know how you just want to go all out in a nightclub? It kind of mimics that. And the red gives intensity. You want to go out. But if I'm going to be honest, what I think it is it's flattering. Your muscles pop. You look good in the mirror. And there's something about going to a fitness class that you think you look good in. You're more likely to go. So I really think it's just narcissism. 2019, and I loved Barry's.
My name is Keltie and I'm taking you behind the scenes of a Barry's Bootcamp class here in Toronto, Ontario.
My frequency on Barry's was determined on one thing: how much I could save from bartending to actually afford it every week. So my consistency was inconsistent.
Okay, we got this.
But my God, I loved it. This is not financial advice, but this was what I was determined to save my money up for at the time. Did I see any real changes in that time? Not a ton. But it was probably my main form of cardio aside from walking, and my cardio was okay back then. It wasn't the best it had ever been, but it was also not the worst. It was decent. What to expect in the workout? First you arrive, check in at the front desk or on the app, which is where you pre-book your spot, and then to the change rooms, which if you saw my 5-star gym review, you know I do not like. Tiny. No personal space. It feels problematic. Do not bend over. Before class, we wait until everyone goes in, when I usually have to warm up, because let's talk first problem, the warm up, because it is bullshit. It is a 1-minute warm-up. If you're on the treadmills, you're just kind of just jogging for about 3 minutes. If you're on the floor, you do some mobility exercises, which is better than nothing. But this is a problem I have with fitness classes in general. They try and optimize people's time so much that they cut out the warm-up, the cool down to a minute. Personally, I would rather cut into the workout and get a proper warm-up, but then some people are like, no, I'm getting my money's worth. I want to go balls to the wall the entire 15 minutes. And so yeah, don't expect much of a warm-up. The workout. Half the class starts on the treadmill and half is on the floor. And each set is about 4 to 15 minutes, and you swap, which you do 2 times. So either you start on the treadmill, go on the floor, then do treadmill floor, or you go floor treadmill, you get the gist. And it's a lot of high intensity interval training. In high interval intensity training, you can only really max out 10 seconds. You need rest. 10 seconds max out sprint, rest. So I call this medium intensity interval training, which is a whole topic we'll get to at the end, because is Barry's for you? Maybe not. We'll talk, because there is a lot of problems with Barry's, but do I love it? Yes. So it's going to be a combo of jogs, runs, sprints, cool down, walk. And that's kind of usually the pattern. Maybe the next set you have the intensity is by increasing the incline, but it's pretty much getting faster with rest. Then onto the floor. It depends on the day. You're going to do upper body one days. Maybe you'll do a lot of booty and ab workouts. And usually it's a circuit of 4 exercises the instructor will run you through. It'll be hey, everyone shoulder press, and you're doing shoulder presses until they're okay, next up, bicep curls, and then you're doing bicep curls. And usually the instructor is cueing you through. And if you're confused, don't worry, we all are. There's many times I just stare blankly at the instructor and be wait, I missed that. What? And there's nothing funnier than everyone's looking around at themselves and be was no one else paying attention? Because I wasn't paying attention, and I was hoping you was paying attention so I could copy you. Clearly you were hoping that about me, and we're all sitting here looking stupid. Intensity level. The limit on the treadmill is 15 miles per hour, which they don't ever tell you to go. Normally, I don't think the sprints, they ever tell anyone to go above 9 miles per hour, but they give it like everyone sprints 9 miles per hour or above, they might say, and they kind of give you that limit to exercise on yourself. In terms of weights, there's 5-pound weights all the way up to a couple 65, 60, and 55. But mainly it's like that 5 to 50-pound dumbbell is their main selection. 2020, and of course the world shut down, and so did Barry's. I moved to Vancouver in this time, and you bet your butt I was salivating waiting for gyms to open up so I could try the one in Vancouver. So were my best friends. And considering the clubs are closed, once Barry's opened up, we used fitness classes as our like Saturday way to get together. At the same time, I was becoming a runner and slowly started incorporating it into my routine as part of my cross training. The instructor. Now the instructor is usually demonstrating every exercise. They'll tell the treadmill to do something, and then they'll quickly go through every exercise you're about to do on the floor. And this is another problem we'll talk about. And then they cue you, which is hard to hear. It's blasty music, and you kind of have this learning curve, and you eventually kind of just get it. But also the more experienced the instructor, the better they'll be at cueing. I find new instructors, it's overwhelming. They tell you on the treadmill and the music, they're changing the songs with the vibes, and then they're telling you to do reps and trying to watch everyone's form, and that is a lot. So for a new instructor, I pray for you. And then some, I've done it for so long, it's like sixth sense. I'm gonna shout out Chloe in Vancouver. She is a mastermind. It is mind-blowing that she is cueing 100 things, making sure everyone's formed, and it's just like the sixth sense because she's been the head trainer there for so long. But there is that spectrum of the more experienced the instructor, the more smoothly the class will run. And nothing against the beginning instructors, because once again, how do you handle that? I have anxiety for you. Cool down, usually at the very end, unless they run out of time, there's 1 to 2 minutes, they'll tell you to put away your equipment. You don't have to wash it because they do have cleaners between each class, but then yeah, you're gonna stretch for about 30 seconds. But most people are off to their corporate jobs, so they usually leave. So now that you got a sense of Barry's, in case you've never been, what are the pros? Who is this for? What's the best part? Here are the pros I found. Number one, you get both strength and cardio. So it's not just a cardio class, it's not just a strength class. You can get 2 different forms of exercise in one. Number 2, which is sadly now a con, is the beauty products. Because they, for the longest time, had Orbay. If you guys knew, Orbay is the splurge. It is so nice. That's my treat to myself. And I use the littlest dollop, just a little quarter, so I like it, make it last forever. And they had Orbay products. So I could go in there and just as much as I want of this luxurious product. Oh my God, it was heavenly. And now they switched it out to Away. I think that's how you say it, which is fine. It's a good product, don't get me wrong. It's not like, this still nice. It's still bougie, but it's not luxurious. Like Orbay is a Hermes Birkin of shampoo. Because I swear I would use 35 pumps worth of Orbay every class. And that's how I justified it. Girl math. Pro number 3, it can be your VO2 max training. I personally take Peter Attia's advice about trying to get 10 minutes of VO2 max training a week. So that just means like total my week added up is like 10 minutes of max out. So that could be like 10-second sprints here, 10 there, a little 30 seconds, and it all adds up. And so usually for me, I use Barry's to that, because when those max out sprints, I'm like, hey, here is my 10, 20, 30 seconds for the week, and kind of just roughly add it up throughout the whole week. And that's how I use it. Pro number 4, the music. It is a nightclub. It is vibes. It pushes you. If you like house music, you will be obsessed. Speaking of music, super exciting announcement. On August 30th in Kelowna, I'll be DJing at my first ever music festival at Denim on the Diamond. Thank you guys for making this possible. I am unbelievably nervous, but I'm so excited. If you're there, move aside Barry's. This is going to be a way funner way to get your cardio in. Dancing to some bops. I'll play some bangers. We're going to have a great time. We'll get our cardio in the most optimal way at a music festival. Hope to see you guys there, and thank you for making this all possible. I'm so nervous and so excited. Pro number 5, the energy. If I just need a kick in the butt, if I know I've been lazy, if I know I won't max out, I go to Barry's, because just the energy, this dark room, the instructors encouraging you everywhere around you, you just like, it's the energy, and that's why I pay the money for it. Because I'm gonna be honest, if I have to do max out training alone, I go half-ass. But when there's people watching, I go full out. I have to placebo effect myself, just like I've said it before. You hide spinach and pasta sauce for your children, and eventually you have to figure out how to do that to yourself as an adult. Pro number 6, the Dyson blow dryers. I mean, amazing. Apparently they break down quite often, but it's reason enough to just get ready there. Pro number 7, you can book online. It's clearly some app developer owns like a bunch of these, like SoulCycle, Legree, Barry's, Jaybird. They're all in the same platform. I don't know who it is or who made it, but smart. And it's so streamlined. I love it. Pro number 8, community and motivation. They do a lot of community events. So they might do like a 30-day challenge, a New Year's. They usually have a couple throughout the year, and they just have a lot of community aspects. I found the Vancouver one was very much this. People are going consistently. You get to know the trainers. The trainers are there for a long time. I find it's not a high turnover rate. So the trainers really get to know you. I just find the Vancouver one very welcoming. There's always challenges going on. They remember your names. Even the front desk staff stays quite consistent. And I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but they do pay their instructors decently well because they stay there for so long. So I'm going to assume. I find it's just like a nice, easy way to become a part of like the fitness community if you have a Barry's in your city. Pro number 9 is the Red Room / the vibes. It's just nightclub vibes, which is a con for a lot of people, but it's fun. Like, I love a nightclub, but I don't want a hangover. It allows me to have that same like dancey feeling, let out energy, blast some music, and then go about my day. No hangover. And last pro, the smoothie bar. You can like pre-sign up ahead of time. The smoothies are great. They're very basic, but they're good. I love anything that I know there's a sweet treat at the end. Once again, adult, bribing myself, being like, you go work out, you know what you get at the end, the smoothie. I'm not saying you have to work out to get the smoothie. I just mean like, I just want the smoothie. So I go there and I'll work out so I know there's a smoothie waiting for me. Like, it's like I just love to treat myself. Is that a problem? And then they usually do have snacks, which you can grab like electrolytes, but I never grab the electrolytes there. Because in my bag is always a package of Element, which is my favorite electrolyte and the sponsor of today's video. Because first of all, a pack of Element is like just $1 to $2 when you break it down, depending if you're in US or Canada, versus like a pre-made electrolyte is $4 to $5. But I always have in my pack, so I just add to my water, and they're the perfect science-based ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. When you sweat, when you work out, your body needs replenishment, hydration, and not just water, but also you lose those electrolytes when you sweat. Have you ever tasted your sweat? It's salty? Yeah, you're literally sweating out electrolytes. And I know for me, if I'm not getting enough electrolytes, I have headaches. I get really bad. I get muscle cramps. And just by making sure to supplement enough electrolytes, especially in the summertime, especially when I'm being active, it just got rid of my cramps, got rid of my headaches, and it's a game changer. If you have that afternoon slump, you're trying to get over caffeine, try electrolytes, see if it can do it. And I love Element because it is used by professional athletes in NBA, NHL, NFL. It is used by like the Olympic weightlifting team. So it's good enough for them and their output. It can be good enough for you. I love it. It's easy, it's affordable, and it tastes so good. Like, this isn't even hard. There's some health things that like, you have to build the habit. It tastes good, so I look forward to it. I'm like, yes, it's my time. Drink by Element. And if you didn't know, they now have a carbonated version, which is everything I've ever wanted and more. But if you guys want to try Element, of course I got a deal for you guys. If you go to drinkelement.com/Keltie, you'll get one of their sample packs for free, which is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share with a salty friend. Once again, that's drinkelement.com/Keltie. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video and every single one of my workouts for the last several years. During the next 2 years, I used berries as my mode of getting sprinting in, and I truly did get faster, simply because every week I just tried to increase my top speed a little bit. My max speed was at 11.5, then 12, and 13.5, and I made it my goal by the end of summer 2022 to get up to 15 miles per hour on the treadmill, and I was able to do that by slowly increasing every week. Oh, that was fun. The pros, the cons are great, but you guys came for the drama. You came for the cons. Don't lie to yourself. I know, I see. Maybe did I clickbait this? I don't know what the title is. Maybe the thumbnail is a little mischievous because people love drama. And I don't really love drama, but I'm gonna be brutally honest so you know what to expect. So here's the cons of berries, because it's not perfect. Con number 1, even though it's a balanced workout of strength and cardio, it doesn't have everything. It lacks mobility, it really lacks that stability. I find there's none of that zone 2, which are also very important things. Like, there's a very limited time you'd be in that zone 2, next to no mobility, next to no stretching, cooling down, warming up. So even though it has strength and cardio, it doesn't have everything. Con number 2, they got rid of the Orbe. I'm sorry. That was like my selling point. I was like, just go there just to like get a little sweat in and shampoo your hair and use a Dyson after. Like, luxurious. That was worth $35. Now, it's hard for me to justify as much. Con number 3, it is a group class, which means not one-on-one intention. Especially berries, I think there's potentially 50 people in a class for one instructor. It's complicated. They're constantly telling treadmills to go there, floor do this, changing music, there's a lot. And so if you're doing something really severely wrong, they might point it out, but they just don't have the time. And that's just a problem with group fitness classes in general. It's a real tough line of like a bell curve of it. If like you want one-on-one personal training, you're gonna get the most one-on-one individualized, less likely to hurt yourself. And on the opposite end is group training, which is a big group and you're getting less one-on-one. But with that is like the cost. Group classes, maybe $30 a class versus like personal training session can be up to $200. So you just have to realize like the more customized and personalized it goes, the more expensive. And that's kind of, I guess it's exponential growth, not I did take stats at university and I have nothing to show for it. Which number 4 is there's a steep learning curve. After a couple classes, you'll get it, but the first few classes, you'll barely hear the instructor. You'll just hear the pounding music and you'll just feel like you're getting yelled at. Like the beginning, you just have to copy everyone around you and kind of like peek over what the person beside you on the treadmill is doing. And then eventually one day you're like, I see what we're doing here. But yeah, for the first 5 classes, if you're confused, don't worry, we're all confused. Con number 5, it leads to overtraining. Now, they have it set up so you're training a different muscle group every single day, which is great because it gives that bodybuilding, you can have rest days for your muscles, but you still need rest days. I find Barry's specifically really caters towards people who love intensity. Going hard, corporate girlies, grind, athletes, myself included. I love that and I thrive off it. But because that, I can get going on the adrenaline and be in that fight or flight and go. And you can definitely start overtraining. Some women are really sensitive when it comes to cortisol. Cortisol is good. There's like a point of diminishing returns. You need cortisol to tell your body to adapt, and that's how you get stronger. Exercise causes it cortisol, your body adapts, recovers, and you get stronger, faster. Amazing. But there's a point where you're trained past what your body can adapt to, and that's what leads to overtraining. And Barry's kind of like, you can do it every day. You just did arms yesterday, so it's fine, do another one. But you have to account for the sprinting and the max training. And I just find like a lot of women online being like they did Barry's every day. And it's a lot. Like if you're sacrificing sleep, recovery, you just have to be careful. I can't tell specifically for you. Every single case will be different. Some people can do it multiple times a week. It really just comes down to your ability to recover and knowing yourself and your just sensitivity to make sure you don't personally overtrain if you want to do something like Barry's. Con number 6, some studios are pretentious. I'm not going to call them out. I'm just going to call it Vancouver for not being pretentious. I love it. It's just like a happy place. But some, like I know if I don't show up in like my full matching set, I will feel out of place. Maybe I'm projecting because everyone else looks better than me and I'm just like, I look like a slump. But either way, just some scare me. Con number 7, it's not inclusive. Now it's flexible in the sense that they'll be like, oh, jog 5, 6, or 7 miles per hour. But like some people can't jog at 5 miles per hour. There's no walking option versus like an Orange Theory. So if you're someone who can't run right now, I hate to say it, you can go walk in the class, but I've never seen someone walk in class except once I had a concussion and I've done that. But for the most part, no one does like a walking option. And so you definitely can, but I'm just going to say I've never seen it. And I know me, I know myself. If I'm going to site and no one else is walking, I know I'll be too embarrassed to walk. So I'll run anyways, even though I know I shouldn't. I get too embarrassed. I get too embarrassed to be the only one walking, even if I'm injured. So I'll run through pain, which I don't want you to do. I just feel for anyone who goes in there and is like not a runner or can't run at all. They're just going to feel out of place. And that sucks. Like that's why it's not inclusive. Con number 8, that same energy that pushes you, that makes you want to sprint can make you push past your limits. If you went in there and you're like, oh, I need to rest. I'm nursing a bit of injury. I've done that. I've gone in and been like, oh, I'm just going to take it easy today. This is bugging me. And then the energy goes and then I push myself too much.
I just got off the treadmill, went on the bench, went to sit down and my hip just seized and just locked up and I just burst into tears.
That's why you have to be self-aware that sometimes that's what you need and sometimes you don't need it. So don't go into Barry's pretending like it's not going to make you want to go balls to the walls. Con number 10, the price. Here are all the prices. It's like $35 for a drop-in. It's this much for a 5 class. You can also get a 10-pack, a 20-pack, which is crazy, and a 50-pack. Who's buying 50? Because they only last for a year. So you have to go every week. Otherwise, you're throwing some away. I hate that classes expire after your fitness classes change that. That's dumb. And then you can do like a reoccurring payment, which is like 4 classes a month, 8 classes. I think it's a 16 and a 30. I just want to know if you are buying those, what you do for a living, because I picked the wrong career path. Wow. Maybe you have like work for Google and they give you like health benefits, which well done. Well done. And the last con is injury. If you're new to working out, you might not know proper form and you just quickly get to see an instructor do it and you might not know how to do it. You also could push yourself. You can overtrain. It's just a lot of chaos. And so really, if you're going to go for first time, give yourself some grace, give some time, get the groove of it, like learn how to do it for a 0 to 100. And also my tip, if you're new to working out, want to go do Barry's, I don't want to scare you away from and do it. Go early, but I will talk about in a second how to handle it. If you've never done Barry's, you're new to working out, but you want to do Barry's, I do have a solution for you. In 2023, no real changes to my body. My bodies look very similar on this channel for a long time. And Barry's is one thing I've been doing, but there's definitely more effective ways to change your body if that is your goal. Barry's can be a part of it, a fun way, but it's not the most effective. Now, what is my own personal experience with doing Barry's and the results? It improved my speed. There was a period when one summer I was like, I just really want to work on my speed. And so every week I just tried to, at least once a class, do my max out sprint speed on the treadmill and just increase it like by 0.5. And by the end of the summer, I was able to quite comfortably, not for very long, but sprint at the 15 miles per hour max out treadmill. And so it was just like nice having that encouragement. And yeah, just a simple way to just slowly increase my speed. Accountability. When I need to get up early and work out, I sign up for one of these classes because I know there's no way I'm throwing away that money. I know they're going to see me cancel. And so if I just need to be a bit more accountability with my workout schedule, I use Sunmake Berries. 3, my VO2 max. I got my VO2 max testing done and I was like, ugh, I hate to sound like, not to brag, but like I was in a high percentile. It was good. Very good VO2 max. And this is one of the resources that I use for it. You have to do it smartly, once again, to make sure you're actually getting in that top percentile. You're not doing MIT, you're actually doing HIIT, but that's for another video. I've also overtrained. One of my results. There's been many times I just get into that habit. I'm booking it multiple times. It's fun. I'm like, feel productive. I feel like I'm getting all these work done before I get to work and I just get in that grind. And before you know it, these injuries start coming. My sleep's bad. My like hormones just kind of feel funky, wonky. And yeah, I've definitely been risked of overtraining with berries because you just get hooked. And one time I had a concussion and thought I was fully healed and I wasn't. And I went there and the pounding music, oh my God. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Another personal experience is I love house music. I love working out to just oons, 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 heavy bass. So I love it for that, but I've also learned it makes me go. My adrenaline, it spikes, so I have to do it in the morning. If I do berries at like 5, 6, or 7 after work, I'm just like high adrenaline endorphins, and so it's hard for me to unwind into my night routine. So I just realized, so it doesn't affect my sleep schedule, I have to be a morning berries person. How it affected my mental health. I find my mental health is like a balance of like anxiety and overwhelm of like, sometimes I can take on too much, and because I'm taking on too much, I think I have to do more because I'm missing out and I'm not doing everything well because I have too much on my plate. So I do more and more and more, and it's a vicious cycle. And that's one thing that can happen. And that's when like berries is not a good example of saying I should add because I'm doing too much, even though I think I should be doing more. On the flip side is I read in the book Burnout about the stress cycle, and it's kind of like at the end of the day, burnout is really when you're like constantly doing the same thing day in and day out with no reward, and that can lead to burnout. And I'm guilty of that. And one way is to just stop is like just have a little celebration every day, just like tie off the circle. So you're doing all the work, doing out a little reward, and one it can be as simple as just like dancing like 5 minutes and just like letting out that energy. And so sometimes I can get overwhelmed because like I just don't have that like outlet of like things have been too mundane and same and computer work and and I just need like a and berries can be great. So sometimes I'll do it on a weekend, or occasionally I will do it after work if I just need that like burst of energy let out, which you know normally I would get from the nightclub, but that's not always the best thing for my mental health. So it's kind of a nice alternative, a healthy alternative to the bar. Or yeah, you can just simply blast music and dance in place, which works too without spending $35. How did it change my body? This is kind of tough because over the last 5 years, I've done many of things, and berries is just like one of the things in my routine, and it doesn't really make or break. My body doesn't really change that much. You'll see these photos and someone's gonna be like, oh my God, she lost her boobs. I had implants and I got them removed. And my body changes a little bit, but the shape of my body is mainly formed from athletics and a little bit of when I got really crazy into weight training into my early 20s and the muscle memory from that. But like, I don't do anything hardcore now. Like, it's just not worth it. I just rather have a really balanced routine that has some strength training, some mobility, some zone 2, some VO2 max, and then that form of however I get it changes depending on my mood or challenges I'm doing. But berries didn't really change my body because it wasn't the only thing I'm doing, and I don't think it should be the only thing you're doing. And I don't think you'd see crazy changes. Like, you'd have to be so mindful of doing progressive overload because there's only so much weights and you're not really training in a way of progressive overloading. You could just every week increasing a bit more, or your speed, and it's just a tough balance of like progressive overload but not overtraining. If you have a really specific fitness goal, you can honestly see results a lot faster and cheaper with just a regular gym membership and a program tailored towards your specific needs. Example, getting bigger glutes, a stronger core, versus a fitness class that's just a general workout and it's not fine-tuned towards your goals. I always think fitness classes as are a fun way to stay active and more part of the social pillar of wellness versus the most optimized workout. But there's definitely times it improved my speed and all that, but I never really did berries to change my body. It was just like part of the whole, and it can be a tool. I don't think it's like crazy, it's gonna make or break, but yeah, you'll see like my body hasn't really changed that much because it was just a part of a balanced routine. Sexy. But is it worth it then? Who I think berries is best for? One, if you're in a city like a New York, LA, a Vancouver, Toronto, where you really want to meet people, it's a great way to just like find a community, find familiar faces, people that are like-minded potentially, because there's usually it's part of people's routine and they're constantly showing up. So I found when I was in Toronto and Vancouver, it was a great way to just like get assimilated into the fitness scene. And a lot of people aren't in fitness scenes. They're just like downtown girlies on their way to work. But also a lot of the instructors are kind of low-key local celebs, so they have the plug. So honestly, just getting to know the instructors, they'll tell you where to go. There's my life hack for you. 2, who it's best for, the corporate girlies before work. You can go there. Some of the change rooms, like the one in Vancouver, are so small, so I pray for you. There's only like 4 showers and next to no room or personal space. But it's a great way if you just want to have something before you head to work. You can shower, you can get ready, there's products, you can get in a sweat, you can get in some weights before you go off to your 9 to 5, kind of downtown living job. It's great for that. And 3, it's also great for someone strapped for time. If you just don't have every day to be able to get in your cardio, your strength, like I said, you don't have the ability to get in all those pillars, it can just be a great way to get in, get some cardio, get some weights once or twice a week if you're just strapped for time. 4, who I also think is great for it, is just someone who wants to treat yourself. This is how me and my girlfriends now use it. It's like a Saturday little treat ourselves instead of going out drinking. We do a berries boot camp on Saturdays. That sounds lame that I'm saying that, but it's just like, it's expensive. So it is a just nice little like treat that we all can like look forward to at the end of the week to end that burnout cycle, which leads me to the last person who it's for, is if you love nightclubs and dancing and house music. Honestly, it's great training for music festival season. Who is it not for? 1, if you're new to working out. Now let me explain why. You can, but I want you to do something. If you've never done a lot of strength training, if you've never done a lot of sprinting, there's a lot of form, and I want to make sure you don't hurt yourself. And it's not super inclusive, which I don't like, but I don't want to discourage you from doing berries. So if it is your first time, if you're getting into working out, I would say please go to the class 20 minutes early. The classes are usually empty during then, or they're cleaning, and talk to the instructor. They usually have like the rough draft, like they'll bring you through the workout and show you things, but I would go and just be like, hey, this is my first time. I knew nothing about fitness form. Can you please demonstrate the exercises for me right now? And I would just like go ahead of time and like spend 10 minutes with the instructor and have them just being like, hey, this is how to properly do a squat, and then show your squat, and they might be able to be like, hey, just remember your knees, put your knees in this positioning or whatever it is. But if you're new to working out, you don't know proper workout form, do that ahead of time. And that's what the instructors are for. They won't be able to do it in the class, but if you get it ahead of class, you'll just feel more prepared and less likely to hurt yourself. And then maybe even ask, be like, you know what I would do? I'd be like, is there anyone who comes here quite often? And they'd be like, oh yeah, Keltie over there, she's here all the time. Just be like, can I copy your form? And I know it sounds humiliating, but if someone came up and was like, I've never done this before, do you mind if I just like, I'm gonna awkwardly stare at you? And then I'd be like, yeah, do it. So there's some tips. Or go with a friend who's done it a lot. 2, if you have a super addictive personality, myself included, I can just get into that routine and go, and it's part of my life, and I love it, and then I'm overdrained. So if you're like me, you gotta be careful. And 3, if you're financially irresponsible and you decide you're like, I'm gonna go every day for a year, so I'm gonna buy that $1,500 pack instead of paying off your credit card. Not for you, myself included. And that's my honest thoughts about Barry's Bootcamp after doing it for 5 years. I love it. It's a fun routine. It's a fun little treat. It is not perfect. It has its place. It can be a tool. But is it the best workout in the world? No. It was really progressive maybe like 8 years ago because it was doing strength and cardio. And that was like, whoa. Because it's very like cardio bunny / weightlifter. And there was this whole that. But now we're all smart. We know a balanced routine is more than just running and lifting some weights, but it can be a great tool to run and lift weights. Let me know down in the comments if there's any other group classes you guys would like me to review / go behind the scenes. This one wasn't so much of a go behind the scenes like my Orange Theory and all that, a bit more of a review. So let me know if you like this or if you want me to go a bit more investigation, but allegedly investigate. Try not to get sued here. Have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye.